And what is going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics coming at you again. Today we are going to finish up the fish room tour, but we're calling this the shrimp room tour because this time we're going to do all the shrimp tanks. Currently, right now, I have all 10-gallon tanks set up for my shrimp. I have 27 tanks currently set up. I'm finishing building shelves right now that's going to add another 12 10-gallon tanks, so that'll put me up to 39 shrimp tanks alone. I know you're thinking, holy mackerel, Jason, that's a lot of shrimp tanks. Well, there's a lot of shrimp out there, and I just gotta catch them all. I don't know. It's like with guppies. I'm just trying to get every single color. I don't know what it is with it. But this time I am sticking with these. I'm having so much better luck with shrimp, taking care of these guys. I have almost no losses whatsoever. A lot of the shrimp that I get are some of the homebred ones, so they do really, really well. And almost all the other ones I got are from Rob from Flip Aquatics, and he puts his through 30 days of quarantine. So his are very, very healthy, and I have fantastic luck with his also, especially all the Neos that I have. Almost every Neo I have in here, I got all from Rob at Flip Aquatics. And just so you guys know, I use a new food today to feed my shrimp so you guys would see them better. This is like a mulberry mix. It's made by Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics. I'll leave you a link down below to his YouTube channel or Facebook or something. I don't know. I'll leave you a link down there if you guys are interested in getting some of this food. This stuff works fantastically. It's like a compressed mulberry, and the shrimp just go crazy for it. It's by far the best thing I can use to film because on most every tank, it draws everything into it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's go check out every single one of these tanks. Okay, as far as shrimp tanks we have, if you see, there's 3 rows of tins here that are 6 each. That's 18 tanks. These are all shrimp. Almost all of these are Caridina, except for I think 2 or 3. And then if you come over here around this side, as I kick something over, there are 9 shrimp tanks up here. Every single one of the ones I have are all 10s right now. And then I'm in the process of building a stand. I just cut all the wood that's going to go right here. These are going to be 3 wide by 4 tall, so there's going to be 12 more 10s set right here. I've already got the 10s because I took them down from my other side here, so they're already drilled and ready to go, so it'll be easy to get it set up. So that'll give me 12 more shrimp tanks. All right, in this tank, these are some crystal red Mossuras. These are the ones that have the crown. If you look at the markings on the top of their head, it kind of looks like they have a crown on. This is one of the like the super high grade crystal reds. I think I've got about 10 of these in here. Again, this tank is most of these tanks are less than 2 to 3 months old. So there's not a lot of activity in these things yet. The next tank, this is a surprise. These are the Blue Bee Parrikar, and I could have sworn that I just lost all these because I couldn't find any of them. But when I got them in, they were really small. And then I saw a couple of them the other day, and I thought for sure if I film, I'm never going to see them. But of course, when I put this food out, it made at least one come out. Okay, in this tank we actually have a mixture. This is because I ran out of tank space. First of all, we've got these reds here. These guys, they're sold to me as Santa Claus, but to me they just look like King Kong Extremes, like red King Kong Extremes. So I don't know. Sometimes people just give different names to them. And then the black ones are black King Kong Extremes. Okay, in this tank, these are all red bolts. Now, these are one of the tanks I've actually had some babies. I think that's one little one right there. So these guys have been propagating some. Some of these red bolts kind of look some of these red bolts look a little bit more like Massuras than they do red bolts. Okay, in this tank, these are red Pintos. There's kind of a mixture of different ones. Once I get some of the tanks set up, I'm going to begin to sort them out. Some of them kind of have the fishbone pattern. There's a few in here that have a little bit of the Galaxy pattern. And then there's some other ones that I got that I put in here that are, they're considered white spotted. If you look at like these right here, you can see just on their red they have like 1, 2, 3, 4 spots on their head. Whereas these guys over here look more like the fishbone pattern. So again, I'm gonna start separating these things out a little bit better once I get more tank space. This tank, these are blue Pintos. And some people call them blue, some people call them black, so I don't know if there's actually the difference between the two. There's actually a blue and a black, or they're all the same thing. It's just a really dark blue. And again, you can see kind of these have different patterns too. So eventually I probably need to start sorting these too. This is some moss that I bought. Let's see if I remember what this stuff is called. I think it's called Thai moss. Looks kind of like Christmas tree moss, but man, this stuff has grown like crazy. Sometimes I have great success with moss, and other ones like normal Christmas tree moss I can't get to grow. Java moss I can, but I can't get it to propagate. Whenever I tear it apart, it just dies when I put it into the tank. All right, this tank is just normal black King Kongs. You can see that the mystery snail has found the food too. And these guys just love this food. This is one of the ones that really gets them going. All right, this tank is Crystal Reds. If you guys remember in a previous video, I imported 100 of these guys in, and to my knowledge, the only ones I have left now are 2. And I think the 2 that I have are 2 that I actually got from Flip Aquatics. I think all the ones I imported in have all completely died. All right, in this tank, these are Taiwan Bees. These guys kind of have all sort of different patterns. These are ones I just kind of bought just to kind of see what they were. In this tank, I have yellow King Kongs, but I also have them mixed with what are called Stardust. I think so they're called. You can see the Stardust are kind of clear, but they've got some kind of cool patterns on them. I'm gonna have to invest in a macro lens so I can get better shots of these shrimp, so you guys can really see them up close. All right, in this tank, these are red King Kongs. These guys, I've only got 2 or 3 of them. I haven't really tried to buy any more of these guys, but I do need to order some more of these. These are ones that I get from Rob at Flip Aquatics. All right, and these are Tang Tais. These are a cross between Tangerine Tigers and some type of Taiwan Bee. This is kind of the initial point of when you're trying to create something new. But again, I bought them like this. You can see these guys love this food. You can see some of them actually come out, like one here that actually looks just like a Tangerine Tiger. He didn't take on any of the genes of the Taiwan Bee. Carries them, but didn't show any. Okay, in this tank, these are blue bolts. These are all ones that I got from Rob at Flip Aquatics. Probably about 50 or so of these guys in here. I think I saw a couple of babies in here too, finally. I'm excited to look back, 3 or 4 months from now and just see these tanks absolutely just loaded with babies. And I've just had fantastic luck with these Caridina shrimp. I've taken all this advice that Rob has given me on how to do water and everything, as you guys can see in some of my other videos, and I have so little loss except for the imports, but that had nothing to do with water. Okay, in this one, these are black crystals, or crystal blacks. You see this mystery snail in here? I've decided to start moving my mystery snails out of my shrimp tanks and start putting Malaysian trumpets in there, because the Malaysian trumpets do a lot better job of sifting through the gravel and kind of turning it over to keep it from creating any kind of pockets. Okay, this tank is kind of a Mod Podge tank. These are Neos. These are all black rose, but as you can see, there's all sorts of different color patterns. I started culling them to try to get all the blacks in here, but they throw so many light colors and stuff that I don't know if I even want to try to keep this line going or not. I may just end up putting this in with all the rest of the mixed up shrimp that I have. I've had such a great luck at selling these mixed sets of shrimp that I might just do that. I haven't made up my mind yet. This is another one that's kind of in the same boat. These are orange Riklis. This is one that I kind of saw some. I never bought orange Riklis, but I saw some of the orange sunkets that I have, or pumpkins that I had, start to create these kind of clear colors with the orange in them. So I started pulling them out. But again, it takes a lot of culling and stuff, and sometimes with the Neos, it's just too much work. So this might be another batch that I might actually just remove and put in the other tanks. In this tank, these are Super Tigers. There's about 10 of these guys in here. They're not very grouped up. Looks like that one is buried. Very cool. All right, this tank, these are orange pumpkin Neos. And these guys love that food. As you can see, they are absolutely everywhere all over this. This is, I have 2 tanks of orange pumpkins right now because I have so many of them. And you can see the water, this wood I have in here, this Malaysian, is just releasing tannins like crazy, so the water is very tea colored, which I don't really mind. It's good for the shrimp. So in this tank, these are, I think these are Blue Bolt Massuras, if I remember right. Some of these auctions that I buy are they're the culls from some of the tanks, so they have good genetics in them, but sometimes the one you get aren't really exactly what they're supposed to be. But I'm looking, you know, down multiple generations. So I only see one of these guys up here, but there's some back there on the filter. I think there's about 10 or so of those guys in there. These are supposed to be culls from Black Galaxy. Like, I seriously have got to buy a macro lens. And they started having babies, and as you can see, there's 2 or 3 babies right there, and they're red. Sometimes you just don't know what's gonna end up coming out. But some of these Black Galaxies are gorgeous looking, you know, whenever they all get all colored up and get these cool looking patterns. Right now they just typically look like a lot of the Pintos I have. So again, I got to do a better job of getting these sorted. I only had these like a week. I can't believe they've already had babies. Okay, this is the other orange pumpkin tank. Again, you can see they absolutely love this food. Got a bunch of reds popping out, so I need to cull those out of there. This is one of those tanks that's just loaded with guppy grass. The Neos seem to love that stuff. Okay, the next one, these are Tangerine Tigers. These are actual Caridinas, but they're in Neo water. They're not in the special water like I use on the other ones, but they're thriving like crazy in this stuff. These are Bloody Marys, and there are way more in this tank than I thought. Man, this food absolutely just draws these things in better than any other food that I use. Next one, these are Fantasy Blues Neos. I switched the substrate out on these guys to give them a lighter substrate so it's easier to see. It's hard to pick these guys out on black substrate. See, there's a bunch of these guys. I've started moving some of these to some of my other bigger tanks so they'll start propagating in other tanks also. These are some of the most popular colors. These are just standard cherry shrimp. These are ones that I got from Rob at Flip Aquatics, and you can see that these guys breed true. I get a few oranges here and there, but for the most part, these guys are all extremely red. And this is, man, this has got to be 10 generations removed. All right, and we are to the last tank. No, it's not cherry shrimp, that's an old sticker. These guys are red tigers. These are ones that are some of my favorite patterns. These guys are just very, very cool looking. I think I've only got about 5 or 6 of these. These guys are a little bit more expensive. Thanks again, guys, for stopping by. I love each and every one of you. Be sure, if you have a question or a comment, be sure and leave it down below. Would love for you guys to click that thumbs up button, or if you don't like it, click the thumbs down button. But just click one of the buttons, and be sure and share it. Share it to all those that you love. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.